Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. We've made it. I have felt like, wow, I made it. I am Kadada Esmera Gray, your conflict coach, with just a tad bit of energy this morning. I have been sick. I am fatigued. It's all the things, but I'm happy to be with you all this morning. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to try my best to bring my energy up for you all, but we're just going to let this illness of mine do what it does. And hopefully, we will ride along with it and we will get back to better health at the moment. I am super excited today. I'm always excited, right? Hopefully, I say hopefully because you know what? Wires get crossed, and hopefully, our guest, Andrea Brunswick, will be on today. We are going to discuss, I'm just going to say it this way, how we really make difficult choices, right? And it is August still, and we are still discussing challenges, conflicts in the Bible or with the Bible, right? And so Andrea Brunswick will be on today to discuss her journey from being a Jewish woman to meeting Jesus Christ, right? And becoming a Messianic Jew. And Messianic Jews are Jewish people that have a relationship and believe in the death and the resurrection of Christ. So it is a very different conversation today. So fingers crossed, hopefully that she will join. The due diligence of mine in the midst of my sickness is has not been great this week. So Andrea and I have spoken. So hopefully she'll join today. So with that being said, let's talk about something on my desk, right, that I found the other day. And I just was like, wait a minute, I've got to get this. And so I bought Oprah's magazine, something that I have not done in a very long time. But I bought it because, well, one, it was pretty on the front. It's all pretty as usual. It's all these puzzle pieces, right? And it caught my attention about the puzzle pieces and the connections. And that's what it's called. It's called The Power of Connection Is This Issue. Run out and get this because it is a guide or Oprah's guide to living your life joyfully, building community, and finding deeper meaning in your life. So, as I take this journey, as everyone else takes this journey in this thing called life, where we are fighting against each other and we are fighting against ourselves, it seems like, and with ourselves, that sometimes we just need someone else to give us a little direction, and that's what life coaches do. We help you get a little direction, get some clarity in your direction. But get this, it has really great stories in here about connection. Y'all, I have been muted and saying wonderful things, and y'all just missed it. So let me repeat. So, and I don't even know how I got muted. So I just want to say quickly, go get the Oprah new book. And I was saying that there is a really great story in here about the group that reads together, bringing back book clubs. Not that they ever left per se, but I think that they have kind of like, there was like a peak and a wave and all that kind of stuff. And so I think they're back. I mean, one of the things that I've seen here in Atlanta and they're starting to spread are the silent book clubs. I need to go do that one day here in Atlanta, whereby everyone just kind of gets together, they read for 30 minutes to an hour, and then they commune together. And so, if you're having a hard time meeting people, if you are having a hard time trying to just kind of connect with others, you're out of practice because we've been in we're still coming out of the pandemic. Some of us have lost that skill of connection and talking and things like that. Yeah, so those silent book clubs are awesome. So that's going to be on my to-do list this year. But yeah, so this is on my desk, on Kadada's desk at the moment. Now, I do need to ask if anyone sees the Time magazine that our former President Trump is he is so dedicated to talking about. It has the vice president, our current vice president, Kamala Harris, on the front of it. And if you had seen, I need a copy. So let me know where you all are finding that Time magazine. I'm gonna have to see if Barnes and Noble has it, but I need this copy. Um, the interesting thing and the funny thing, as we say back home in the Caribbean, is that the former President Trump gave her a compliment and it was like his brain was trying to process as who it was on to me, like on the cover. So it was kind of like this weird kind of conversation whereby he landed the conversation of saying like she's the prettiest woman, like just like his wife, right? So we gave her this comment, but not or compliment, but it wasn't really a compliment. It's like really weird. Um, but I need the Time magazine. We all need that Time magazine with the VP on the cover, and it is a really great cover this morning. So as we are rolling. So get The Power of Connection by Oprah Magazine. If you can find it, get that, read that. Keep that for life because I think we need to keep some magazines for life. But I also want to talk about this morning just invisible illness. And maybe it's closer to my heart right now because my invisible illness is kicking my butt. Um, and so it's just at the point of just wanting to share with everyone that there's a lot of us with invisible illnesses, which mean that you can't see what internally is occurring to me. So I might look good on the outside, but on the inside, I am challenged. And for me, like I started to think about what do I do in the space of my invisible illness when I need to put a little pep in my step, right? Because I'm tired. Mine comes with a great level of fatigue. And this morning, like I said, like I sound really slow. Like to me, I feel like I'm slow this morning. Um, and I'm trying to just get a little pep in my step, right? A little pep in my step. So this morning, like I had to pull out the chunk colorful earrings, not the chunk gold earrings, but the chunky colorful earrings this morning because they make me feel good, right? So trying to put a little pep in my step. So if you're one of those people that have an invisible illness, everyone always believes that you look good, that you're always got it together, but you are cramping, your skin is burning, you are feeling like every muscle in your body is tight, or you have great amounts of inflammation. Um, this segment is for you and trying to figure out what do we do to make ourselves feel better outside of the traditional norms of just having, um, taking our medication, right? Because I take medication every day. But y'all, I don't know how many hours I have been asleep. I think I got sick last week and it has just progressed. So hopefully today is my last day. You all hope for that for me because it's kicking my butt. And interestingly enough, like one of the things that some of you all can or cannot see my hands, but if some of you all see my hands, um, if you're watching me on live, my hands are actually swollen um, with inflammation, and people don't realize that. Like I can actually gain upwards of 10 pounds of inflammation, and it is upsetting, but it's not noticeable to other people, which is kind of wild, 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 wild. I can see it. My cheeks are a little bit puffy. But good morning. I want to say good morning to Lorraine. That is my family. Al, hello. Good morning, Al. And so, welcome to technology, y'all. I'm just here. So let's see what happens. I don't know. I see that Jennifer is here this morning. Good morning, sister. Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for waking up this morning. Well, first of all, waking up with me. God woke you up this morning. So hopefully, if you're joining, it's almost 15 after, and hopefully our guest will arrive on the show. She has her and I have crossed paths with a yes. So, life is life. So I do want to talk about some news, right? Because we have some. Okay, so I call myself a conflict coach because my background is in conflict resolution. And my lens of how I see the world is everything is conflict, right? Whether it's an internal conflict, meaning the way that we are processing something, how our emotions are affecting us, and then external conflict with what are the social norms, the political norms, the business norms, relationship norms, and how we interact with those as well, right? So, and sometimes we have internal and external conflicts that we deal with, and then sometimes they bump up together. And I feel like we had one of those in real time in our face, and Lord, y'all. So the Olympics are over with. And so I have a little bit of Olympic tea for you all. So breaking news over here. I got some insider information. But before I get to that, I do want to talk about, like my favorite thing at the Olympics are track and field, um, gymnastics. Those are my two favorite things. And then the other, let me just tell you what I hate at the Olympics. Like I hate dressage where the horse is like reining. I don't know why that's a sport. I don't know why that irritates my spirit, but it does every time. Dressage irritates my spirit. So the Summer Olympics have closed. I don't know about anyone else. Not my favorite. Paris was just not my favorite. It seemed a little bit flat. It's like the opening ceremony was kind of weird to me. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe it was too high level artistic for me. And um, then the closing ceremony, once again, I was just like, I don't know what's going on here. But I will tell you all that my favorite thing was the last couple of days when they brought on the break dancing championships. So I can tell you all, I miss the women's because I could never figure out when breakdancing was going to come on, right? So when I found it, it literally was the men's competition, and I was here for it because they brought it. And America brought home the bronze. Victor, I can't remember Victor's last name, but Victor, a Mexican American, represented. And let me just say the irony of that. I love the fact that when it seems to be the Olympics, so every 4 years we have this sense of community amongst us across the nation here in the United States, and we kind of throw away some of our isms. I didn't hear any chat about racism. I really didn't hear much chat about sexism. So yeah, Victor out of Kissimmee, Florida, was on top of it. Of course, our girl Simone Biles, she just took it, swept it. It was just amazing. But back to breakdancing. So apparently it was a test. I think the test failed. I think they got an F. And not because it wasn't good. I think there was just truly a lack of understanding. So in 2028 in Los Angeles, breaking is not coming back, right? So I'm hoping that they go on a tour because another American, Jeffro, if you saw Jeffro, let me tell you, classic breakdancer, could have been in the park in Brooklyn, you know, all the things. And then even, I'm hearing that like my voice is a little distorted. Y'all, I don't know what's going on, but we're just gonna keep doing our best. So I don't know what is going on with my mic, why I'm sounding distorted, according to Yoruba, our fabulous producer over here. So, but I was saying that I hope that the breakdancing team goes. I'm gonna reconnect my mic, y'all, and um, in my mind, I was just like, my mic sounds nice for all of us '90s hip hop babies. Um, Now I gotta play that song, y'all. Now I gotta play my mic sounds nice. Check one. All right. All right, y'all didn't hear me rapping, but that's me today because I got the B girl earrings in. And yes, Jennifer, these hoops today, I don't know. They're here to give me a little energy. I have to remember where I bought these, and I will buy a whole set of them. But I love the earrings. I love the earrings. So we have breakdancing. Simone Biles swept it all, y'all. And then the United States team, they are going to start touring. So that out. Um, check that out. And so, because I have to go see those, I have to go see them. I have to go see them and wave a flag. And I want to say the cutest moment, I think, for me was there's a 16-year-old out of Virginia. I cannot remember that little brother's name. And it was funny because he was got to go back to school in 2 weeks, and that is hilarious. So he's got to go back to high school, y'all, and go back and do all the things and be a regular student, but with a gold medal. And now, remember, I spoke about like the challenges, the internal and external challenges that we have. So in breaking, in the women's breaking, there was a sister out of, and when I say sister, I mean just like a sister, not a black girl, but another female, just in case, because I don't want to offend any of the black girls. I don't even know if there were any black female break dancers, but her full title, let me be clear, is Dr. Rachel Gunn. She's out of Australia. And so her PhD is in cultural studies. And I know people are saying that her PhD, they're calling her like PhD Dr. Breakdance, and her PhD was in breakdancing, but it's not. It's in cultural studies. And hey, good morning, Jessica. Hey, sister. And I just want to say that she struggled. Like, I don't know if she came out and decided that she did say she practiced for 37 minutes. And she is supposedly the best break dancer in Australia, female break dancer. And I saw a conflict here because people are pushing back. Because if you see her her performance, I mean, it was very childlike, it was very childish. And to me, it was a slap in the face to the honoring of even the breakdancing style and how it came forward. And I know that everyone can have creativity because she is a dancer, right? She's a ballet dancer. She does all types of forms of dance. And I guess she decided she was going to bring some of that into, um, I don't know, uh, into the breakdancing competition at the Olympic level. We're not even talking about at the local or country level, but she brought it. And I just want to say that, her internal need for doing this, I understand everybody wants to be an Olympian. What I didn't understand was the external conflicts is what are our expectations? What are the standards that she was supposed to execute, right? And she didn't meet either one of them. And then now she's having this like, oh my gosh, I'm so fantastic chick. I just, I let me say something because in the news, I think in the news, they use a lot of words that they don't explain to people. So let me just explain Andrea's PhD, which, for my understanding, some other PhDs have read it and they said it gave them a headache because it really didn't do much. So when you get to your PhD level, you have to write on a topic of your choice, and it's supposed to be the whole goal is to generate new thought, right? Not something that someone else has done before. So she decided to do a qualitative study on breakdancing norms. I think gender norms, what it is. Yeah, breakdancing, how women view it, how view it, and how do you bring that together? And I'm struggling because I'm trying to figure out in my own head, like this is just a little weird. But a qualitative story study, think about it in the space of like storytelling, right? So there aren't like hard numbers, which is a quantitative study. So what you're looking for is that you're looking for themes, right? So she went, spoke with some people, and she asked them some questions. Everyone has standardized questions, and people told them their stories, their experiences, and so she's looking for themes and she came out with her PhD. Um, and so I guess, I, hmm, it's just something to think about. I'm going to give her credit because I like to give people credit where it's due. And so I'm reaching a little bit, but this is me and my reach. She basically said, I guess for me in my head, because I didn't think about it, like, are there issues with women being in the breakdancing sport? I don't know how far back she went. I don't know if she went like 30 years back. I don't know who she spoke to, but especially if she only spoke to people in Australia, I don't. Yeah, we just gonna move on. So Rachel Gunn is on some ish, and she is going to do. She has done something that majority of us will never do. She got to the Olympic stage. She is on her best moment, I guess, and we're all giving her 10 seconds, 1 hour of and let me just say this for all the kangaroos out there. I apologize to you all because I saw her bring her kangaroo move, and I know she didn't represent y'all well. So that's what I'm going to say about the last thing. I said that I had a little Olympic tea. So y'all, my mic and my laptop are fighting this morning. So, but I found out some Olympic tea for you all. So, like I said, they're removing breakdancing for 2028, and y'all, I have discovered that they are bringing pickleball as a test for 2028. And you know how I know this? Because I know someone who knows someone that went to some pickleball tryouts, y'all, in Macon, Georgia for the Olympics. For the Olympics. So, can you imagine? We're about to see pickleball, which to me is like the lower level version of tennis, but I'm not a pickleball player. And yes, Jennifer, I think my mic is dying too. I don't know. We're in Mercury retrograde. All technology is acting a whole fool at the moment. So I just want to say, if you are a pickleball player, um, look it up. You might be able to go to the Olympics in 2028, and they are doing all of the tryouts, making that work. And so now we all have got to learn pickleball rules. Oh, I forgot. Even though it's not Winter Olympic time, I just want to say, y'all, I love the little shuffle. Well, I can't remember. I just had the name, y'all. When they're on the ice and they're like sweeping the ice, curling. I love curling. But that's that. We're gonna get off the Olympics, and I do want to say that we have breaking news. I don't know if you all remember the story when the Ukrainian war began. You know, people in Russia, people in Ukraine were scrambling, didn't know what in the heck was going on, because I promise you, war does not have any notice. They don't tell you when it's coming. But there was a Russian American woman who was visiting Russia at the time. She's a ballet dancer. And it's key to note that she's a Russian American. She was born in the United States, if I understand correctly. And Miss Carolina, she's 33 years old, and she made a $50 donation to a Ukrainian organization for help. And who knew the Russians were checking for who's making donations where? But she did. She was arrested, and she has been in jail, I think, for at least a year. Awaiting trial, went through her trial, and guess what? This morning we got news that she has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. This Russian American woman, for making that $50 donation to a Ukrainian organization. It's wild out here, you guys. It's wild. So in a few seconds, Yoruba, if you can get ready to go to break. But I know that our awesome guest, Andrea Julia Brunswick, is here. And I want to prep, because guess what? Like I said, you all, this is an awesome woman. And she did something, she dared to be different. She chose to do something different, which is a huge conflict when you were raised a certain way and then you decide to do something differently, right? And so just think about, how do you handle that? But I want to say that to preempt this, right? And as I said, August, we've been talking about, and we'll continue this entire month to talk about the Bible, and not in terms of biblical scholarly work, but just some of our political, social norms and challenges on how we interact with that. And one of our famed and beloved gospel singers, Kirk Franklin, just came out, made a statement, like he is calling out the church and fellow Christians about weaponizing certain things. And he actually talked about how Western Christianity weaponizes things against people inside of the church. And so he said there were three things, y'all. So he said marriage, giving, meaning how we donate into the church, because we're supposed to give our tithes to the church, and sexuality. So I only want to talk about one of them, and it was marriage, because I thought this was interesting, because he says that the church weaponizes, if you are not married, there's a problem in your life, according to Christians, apparently. And so that is really interesting, right? Because, like, what do you mean if I'm not married is a problem? I didn't think about it to me, but the church does press marriage, right? And so that is, so hey Rick, oh, what are you doing up so early in the morning, Rick? What is going on? Are you okay, Rick, out there? Are you okay? Yeah, you got to look at the interview. But he says that marriage is weaponized. And what caught my attention was this one line where he said, marriage does not fix sin, y'all. And I went, oh, wait, what? Didn't dawn on me. Did it dawn on me? So I thought, like, this is so interesting, right? Because if marriage is supposed to be a panacea for something, what is the panacea? And if you want to get out of sin because you're not supposed to date and have sex until you're married, I guess you're just fixing one sin of having, you know, I don't know, y'all, the sex before marriage thing. So I guess, but it doesn't fix all sins, right? So he's just, and then he said, what is it? What if marriage is not what God has for you and wants for you? So, and in that space, I want to say, let's take a break because I truly believe that the idea of what God has for you and wants for you is a external and internal conflict so many of us deal with because we are raised to deal with certain things, and especially when it comes to our faith. So that's why I'm excited to have Andrea Brunswick with us today, because this is a Jewish girl who found Jesus, Lord. And so Yoruba, if we can, let's take a quick break and let's bring Andrea on this morning.
Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadana.
Good morning. Hey, Andrea. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Life Coaching Today Presents podcast. And if you see this little pretty girl over here, that is Miss Zora, and she is looking for attention this morning, y'all. So she's not feeling like she's getting enough attention. And if you were just joining us, my name is Kadada Esmere Gray, and I am your conflict coach. And I help people look at the world through the lens of conflict and know that we have the opportunity to resolve it, but also that conflict is not bad. We just need some skills to wade our way through it. And this morning, we have an awesome guest. Her name is Andrea Julia Brunswick, and she signed up for my August month of dealing with all things in the Bible and how we are dealing with those types of challenges from an internal, what we have been raised with, what we have been told about God and the church, and the rules and the guidelines of church, with to what our external needs are, and what does that look like, right? So Andrea signed up. She is a Jewish woman who found Jesus, and that in and of itself is a huge conflict. Because there's literally like 12 of y'all Messianic Jews out there, Andrea, and you know that is something that, and a Messianic Jew people are people who were raised in the Jewish faith, who have a Jewish foundation, who also, though, believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And so that is something that is shocking in the Jewish world. And so, Andrea, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you this morning?
Oh my God, you are popping. You were like, yeah, I'm like, this energy, it's just fantastic. I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic now. I said earlier in my podcast that I've been dealing with my illness for like 5 days. And so I've been trying to work my way up and grab the energy. I'm trying to grab the energy. So thank you for that. You guys, Andrea is all the way. Tell us where you're from. I'm not going to tell your business. You tell us where you're located.
Okay. So I'm in Canada. I'm in the Toronto region.
Yay.
Yes.
How far are you from Heart Lake?
From Heart Lake?
Yep.
In Brampton?
Yes.
Oh, I would say maybe about 40 minutes. Why, you have friends in Brampton?
I've got a whole lot of family. That's where I spent my summers, ma'am. I know all about Toronto.
Wow. Hey.
So
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, thank you. You have no idea how excited I am to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sitting outside because there's people still sleeping in the house. And then I'm sure neighbors are still sleeping. And I have a very loud voice. So I'm just doing my best
It's
to
all
just
right.
thank you for that intro. And I will say this, that I may have shared this with you the other day on our quick call, but when I came across a room full of Christian entrepreneurs
Mm.
back in the day of Clubhouse, in the beginning of 2021, I don't know if you ever went on Clubhouse, but I was like, I don't understand. These Christian women seem to know more about the Old Testament than most Jewish people that I grew up around.
Oh, wow.
Most, right?
Okay.
And that was like, that really got my attention. I'm like, what?
Mm.
And God's a funny character. He's
Girl, tell
definitely he's
it.
got a definite sense of humor, and he perfectly positioned me for the transformation that he was going to be taking me on.
Mm.
And I never felt more Jewish in my life since my discovering that really Yeshua Christ really is the Jewish Messiah. So
Mm. So what did so so that was your entryway, I guess, into
listen,
Christianity?
I've had Christian friends, I have Catholic friends, I have friends of every culture and nationality and religion. But it was being immersed in this room that the moderator of the room would run off of biblical verses and
Mm.
then create activation. So every morning, Monday to Friday, I was hearing a biblical scripture, and mostly from the Old Testament.
Mm.
And I was like, and that set me on a path. Like, I really need to discover my own. I mean, I'm not a religious person. I've always been a God person. But even as I say that, excuse me, I was a God person in the New Age. I
Yeah.
played in the world, and I was all of New Age spirituality, personal development, so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not the case anymore. Not the case. I shared with you that verse. It was Hosea 4:6. That
Yes.
attention, because in all honesty, my life was perishing. I was really, and I couldn't understand why. I'm a
Mm.
mindset coach. I know psychology. I've been
Really,
for 20 years,
couldn't understand why.
and just I was diving more and more and more into the law of attraction. But I was ignorant, and I didn't know things. And the thing that I did not know was my father's word.
Mm.
That was the biggest component to not knowing him, or the seduction of the world and New Age, because it's very seducing. It's very shiny object syndrome. And that's what sucked me in
Okay.
3.5 decades ago. But I ain't there anymore.
So I want to read Hosea 4:6 for everyone, just for a point of reference, because you said that is your favorite Bible verse, right? And I'm going to read from the King James Version. Is that the Bible that you choose to read? What is the Bible that you read? I'm just curious.
I do a few because I use the app, so I'll often
Okay.
go to different versions.
Okay.
The King James never makes sense to me.
Oh.
It's
Girl, we're gonna talk about that. You should have been with us last week. Um, so let me just read this Bible verse so we're all on the same page. And then Andrew, I want you to tell me why you love this verse.
okay.
And so it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." That is what it says. That's the King James Version. I swear I need to go find the other versions to make it simpler. But the thou, the that, the thee, the thus, and for all of us who are just like that old English, y'all. So tell me why that is your favorite verse. And you alluded to it.
Well, I think so again, I'm around all of these Christian women in different rooms on Clubhouse,
Mhm.
and they're sharing about how they have personal scriptures that have been personalized for them, as though God has given it to them. And I
Mm.
was like, what? I need that. I need that. But as God took me on this journey of discovering Him and
Okay.
His Word, I came across Hosea 4:6. I cannot remember how that came to my attention. But so this, I believe that I took it from is from the New Living Translation, the one that I'm going to read now, where
Yeah.
it says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." And I thought about that as I just shared a few minutes ago. I was seeing how my life was continuing to take these turns. The things that I was seeing happening with my children, things that had happened with myself. I became widowed at 40. My husband had passed at 41. There was just, it would be like that up and then that crash down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the down would stay, and then the down would affect my kids. And I was like, I do not understand why. So I was asking God, I don't understand. Why is this happening to my life? Well, He sent me this verse. Your life, Andrea, is destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and that knowledge is my word. And that knowledge is truly who I am. And that knowledge is the fact that, New Age, I had that Christ consciousness, and it's all about the one love. And that was the knowledge that was killing me because I lacked His knowledge and
Mm.
His word, if I'm making sense in the way I explained that.
Yeah. And let me just say, you guys in the chat, welcome, good morning. Please, if you have questions for Andrea or myself, drop them in the chat. We like to make sure that this is a two-way, three-way conversation at all times. So, Andrea, tell me something. How did your family receive you when you were like, your Jewish family members were like, hey, guess what? Guess what? I just found the Lord. So
Well, both of my parents are deceased,
Mhm.
so I don't have to tell them. I have an older brother, I have an older brother and an older sister, and I have my brother's eldest son lives in LA, and
Mhm.
we're connected on Instagram. And I guess the way because I've switched everything. I've switched the way I coach. I've switched now the modalities in which I use with clients.
Mm.
So I mean, when I say there's been a transformation, there has been a transformation. So in any case, I was redoing my Instagram, and I guess my nephew saw something and he mentioned something to my brother, and my brother, we were on a phone call, and he said, "Hey, Andy, are you Christian?" And I said,
Are you Christian?
"Yeah, are you Christian, Michael? Michael, that's my nephew's name. Michael
Yeah.
wants to know if you're Christian." And I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, Stephen, yeah, I gave my life to Christ." I said, "I consider myself a little bit more messianic, but
Mhm.
definitely centered in Christian, I guess
Theology.
in Christian roots."
Yeah.
Listen, I'm still on my walk. I don't think I'm a baby Christian anymore. I definitely think I'm more like a teenager at this point,
Yeah. Yeah.
moving into young adulthood Christian.
Mm.
But I have a niece, my sister's eldest, who is actually a cantor in the synagogue, which is almost like a rabbi. And I was telling her 2 years ago of this, and I'm telling my friends, and you get a lot of pushback, but I've gotten pushback on many other things in my life. So to be honest, I don't really care. And I'll see posts on different platforms where they say, oh, people question if Jesus is real or if God is real, but yet they'll believe that crystals are real and not, law of attraction is real and that all of
Mm.
these things, or Buddha, and I was like, yeah, they don't question that at all to
Right.
be factual, but yet they will question these things as factual. So I'm sometimes like a deer in the headlight myself when,
No,
when people are like that. Yeah.
I appreciate your perspective, and Jennifer Simmons says she's enjoying your life perspective, and I want to say that it takes a lot of courage to step outside of the traditional norms for us, right? We individually grow up a particular way. We are socialized a particular way. And when we choose to do something differently, sometimes there can be a great loss of relationships, those breaking of relationships, a great loss of friendships, and just even identity. Because when you know yourself to be of one way, and then to choose something differently, that journey and that transition there can be really hard. Did you feel like you were losing part of your identity?
No, I literally felt like I was gaining more of my identity, that I was truly now things, so many things of how I always operated in the world made sense. God's always spoken to me.
Okay.
Right? I've always heard the voice of God. He's always been very clear, giving me clear direction at times. Listen, there's been plenty of times I wasn't hearing him. I recognized how disobedient I was to him. I was always a rebel. And listen, when you're playing in the world, I was a little bit cocky and proud that I was a rebel, because I thought I wasn't intending to be a rebel to God. I was like being a rebel to the institutions, like the school system or the government, or
Yeah.
things such as that. So in all honesty, I really have felt like, no, I'm home.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
truly home now. And I really understand who I am. And God wanted me on that path. He wanted me to do the things and to experience and meet the people that I had met,
mm.
because it's for this time that He's brought me now.
Right.
So,
And I just want to say, welcome home to the land of the rebels. 'Cause a lot of us, a lot of us are very disobedient. A lot of us push back all the time. A lot of us choose not to listen. Let's be clear. We hear it and then we're like, nope, we're going to do what we want to do. And Lord knows Lord, the stories of the I don't want to listen is real. And so I have a question for you, because do you, in your newfound understanding of your relationship with the Lord and how he or she has provided to you a new lens through to which to look inside of the world, are you finding that you are seeing political issues differently, your relationships with people differently? What does that new lens for you look like?
uh, it's funny because He's also removed the scales off my eyes about politics. And that started a little bit before this.
Okay.
It really started, um, I would say maybe around 2015. I was really recognizing that systems were broken and we cannot do this mandates anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially here in Canada, our education system, our healthcare system, our governmental system, and then boom, along came what I say, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, but I call it the big lie of 2020.
Mm,
And it really has been causing me, and so much has been taking place here in Canada when they did the trucker freedom convoy, and what is taking. I mean, when you were just sharing that story about that Russian American, the American Russian woman, and what's, I mean, yes.
mhm,
Now, I had to attend a wedding a couple of weeks ago of my brother's youngest son,
mhm.
who I love my nieces and my nephews. I was an aunt very young. In any case, he is gay. And that would never have disturbed me before, to attend a
Mhm.
gay wedding. I had many gay friends. I love gay people. I don't have an issue with the person, but I was feeling a lot of confliction within me about attending and supporting this marriage, from the little that I've been learning in regards to how the Father and how Jesus feels about homosexuality and in terms of marriage.
Mhm.
So that's to answer that question. With friends, there's definitely a little bit of, I think it's more internal confliction, because
Mhm.
there's not really any kind of conflict that's showing up with in my friend circle, but there is this definite inner conflict, and it really has me looking at things really very differently, like even just about how I think when you start to understand things, like when our ignorance starts to fade, and there has to be a willingness to raise your hand and say, you know what, I'm ignorant, and I need to do something about this ignorance on whatever that topic is. I'm starting to notice how systems are wanting to exalt themselves above God. The medical system, doctors, all of this, as though they are the authoritative. They are the authority. They are the only ones to know. So it's causing me. I'm just going with it. I'm just going with this flow. I'm
Mhm.
willing for God to take me wherever He wants to lead me and to use me as the vessel, however He chooses. I recognize when He brought me into life coaching in 2004 that He said, I want you to be a life coach.
Mhm.
This is where I want you.
Mhm.
This is whom I want you to coach. So I just go with it. And now I'm even that much happier to be a willing participant with Him.
Thank you for the answer. I do. So wait, before I ask for clarification, so Jennifer asked a question. She's got a two-part question for you, and she says, "What has been your greatest challenge or challenges as a Christian, in contrast to your Jewish roots?"
Nothing's come up as of yet.
Mm,
Nothing.
okay. So you
I mean,
mentioned.
maybe just some of the. Listen, okay, no, sorry, Jennifer, because when I really think about that, I stand in the gap for myself and my Jewish friends, my Jewish, for my people. I stand in the gap for Israel. I can start to see. I'm getting a better understanding of some of the conflict that Israel itself has been going through, and, and this is just me and Andrea Brunswick's little opinion, which doesn't have to mean anything to anybody else in the world. But I really feel for Israel itself to have full peace. My people need to get over their ignorance, and
Mm,
they need to really now listen to the word of their Father, to Hashem, and to welcome Yeshua, Christ, as the Messiah.
mm. So I need to thank you for that. I do want a place of clarity, right? I need to stand in a place of clarity. So you were talking about going to a gay wedding, with gay friends, and so are you saying that you are opposed to gay weddings? And before you answer, I just want to say this: that if you know, I have an understanding that Jews, Orthodox Jews, live in the New Testament, right? And then don't really, they kind of disregard the Old Testament, then disregard the New Testament, right? So do you find yourself leading now in your Christianity, right? Or do you find yourself leaning still more into in the Old Testament, or you have lent yourself more into the New Testament world? Because I'm trying to understand where it is you stand in your challenges around like gay marriage and that kind of thing.
So, whether it's Old Testament or New Testament, all of it is new to me.
Okay. Okay.
All of it is new to me.
Hmm.
Now, I was not raised Orthodox. I was raised in a very progressive, liberal,
Okay.
reformed Jewish household. So I would
Okay.
have been more of a secular Jew. You know,
Mhm.
we were more traditional. We followed the holidays, would go to synagogue at the high holidays, or would go to synagogue for a funeral or for a wedding. When
Okay.
it came regarding to my nephew's wedding, and it's just because of this new walk and where I'm learning it, I think, from the New Testament
Hmm.
and from Bible teachers and from pastors and preachers that I watch their sermons and their conversations, because they really are my teachers at this
Hmm.
point,
Hmm.
right? I just actually found a local church here in my area, and I went on last past Sunday. So
Hmm.
it's nice now to be a part of an actual community.
Yes.
So it's not, it was really, and it still could be some of my own ignorance on not
Hmm.
understanding. So I took this to a friend of mine who I've been friends with since college. She was actually one of very instrumental in bringing me to the Lord. And we did the sinner's prayer together.
Mhm.
And I was having a conversation with her. I said, I feel this confliction. Am I supposed to attend? Because I'll see these questions online in conversations amongst other Christians. If they should be attending a gay wedding, my son is gay, should I be supporting that lifestyle? And
Mm.
to be honest with you, I don't, I don't, I don't want to be any more disobedient to God than I had already been. I'd already spent so many
Mm.
decades being disobedient.
Right.
So my intention now is to be obedient,
Okay.
not disobedient. And listen, Holy Spirit knew my confliction. And I
Yeah.
had some really open and honest conversations, and I attended. And I did attend. But
Mhm.
I have to say, that was a little conflicting for me at the beginning because I didn't know what the right thing to do is. I only knew the right thing for me to do is to not be disobedient.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that honesty. Because I think that anybody who is of faith, right, just, and I'm going to say of any faith, because there's a multitude of faiths, that there is a great challenge about the disobedience and the perspective. Like for me, I always say the Lord does not need my help. Because I have a belief that there is a greater power higher than me, and all I can do is I'm called to not judge, which is a hard task to do, right? Because I swear anything we're judging almost everything, right? And in God's creation and God's design of the world, to my understanding, is that God didn't make any mistakes. And if God doesn't make mistakes, I'm challenged by what the world, sometimes a portion of the world, pushes back on in the name of the Lord, especially when we have the Old and New Testament dichotomy. So I appreciate your honesty there. And when I just want to step back for a minute. So you said to your brother, "Yes, I'm a Christian," and his response was what now?
He was so, he shocked me. He
Okay.
shocked, he
Uh-huh.
shocked me on many. I mean, we've had a fractured relationship. He's 9 years older than I am, and
Okay.
he's a litigation lawyer, and
Okay.
and lawyers, and I'm an artist by
Mhm.
nature. I mean, he's an artist also, but he's really leaned his brain really as a litigator. So
Yeah.
we've always had that. But he said, "Well, good for you." And he said, "As long as you found that peace, because I've been seeking peace. That was the whole reason. What the New Age world seems so attractive
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
right? Eastern philosophies attracted me, right? Because I was seeking, but I truly was seeking God,
Mm,
not knowing that was really the who and the what I was seeking and what I needed.
I love it. I sit with the idea of change all the time in our own personal spaces. And I think that Jennifer says she used the phrase personal conviction. And I love that because that's the space that we first have to begin with, right? And if we are tumbling through, I think about it like it's a dryer, right? We literally have all of these ideas. We have the isms, we have the socializations, we have all of those things that are tumbling within our internal spirit that causes us to have conflict. Because the moment that something new is introduced to us, we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to handle it, right? And some people literally shut down. Some people go into hiding. Some people seek out more information. Some people take that seeking and go get a teacher, a mentor, or whatever to help them process. And to me, it sounds as if you have really taken the time to process and ask questions. And you were also in the space of being in community with people that can give you a different understanding, right? But you also knew at some point in time that you were having a conflict, right? Like you yourself were on this journey where everything doesn't seem right. Everything's not
Exactly.
working at the moment. And so what is it that you do? What do you do when everything doesn't seem to work? And the answer is to pivot with some assistance. And that is probably the hardest skill for us as human beings to get. We need to learn not to demonize something that's different than us, because we definitely demonize everything that is contrary to what we believe to be true. And then we weaponize everything that we believe to be true against that idea of what is wrong, right? We saw that with Kirk Franklin saying that, the church weaponizes the idea of marriage for single people, because what if marriage is not for you? And that was eye-opening for me, right? I'm 49 years old and would have never thought about it on that level, because what is it that God has for you? And I love this discussion because apparently, and I know, like, God gave you something, you accepted it, and you decided this is what's for me.
Exactly. I found that interesting what Kirk Franklin was saying.
Isn't that interesting?
But you know what, though? Can I just take that in another? Because I see that, and I wonder truly what he actually means by that. Because is that somebody saying, now just remember, it's 2021 is when I came to the Lord. I'm going to be 62 in October.
All right, girl.
So
We're
I
gonna
played
break
in this. I played in this world. When I say I have the world, I was
that.
at the world. Okay, rebel, party girl, club. I mean, I've seen it. I've done it. I've experienced it.
Okay.
And I take all of that because that's the richness to what has created my life. But
Mhm.
because I hear people in the world, men of the world say marriage is not for me because they still want to be the player. So see, I
Okay.
respect them for
Yeah.
not getting married and then being the player outside of their marriage.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we're saying marriage is not for, listen, my husband passed in 2003. My kids were 10 and 5.5. I wasn't remarrying. I didn't want to do a blended family.
Yeah.
I needed to heal. I needed my children. So I mean, I understand what I would like to now meet a wonderful gentleman. And to be honest, now I want to meet a man who has God very close to him. Whereas before that wouldn't have played a part
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my little checklist. I don't have a
Mhm.
checklist, but if I did. So I can understand that marriage really isn't for all of us, but how are we living our life? So for not getting married because we want to be the player, whether you're a woman or you're a man,
Yeah.
it's not that marriage, I don't know if really is not for you or if it's really, I just want to be a player.
That's interesting. I do like your perspective, and I respect it too, because I'm like, don't bring your problems into other people's spaces. Just don't bring it. So if you're gonna be a
Well,
player,
I've often wondered why some people have gotten married. Haven't you? I mean, I've seen those ones. Why did you
yes,
get married? Because
yes,
you haven't been faithful. You now think that you need to open up to swinging in your marriage. So
right.
I myself have questioned why some people have done that when you should have just stayed single, done what you wanted to do.
Wee, girl, listen, girl,
We
and
could
you're
we
bringing
could go deep with this. We could go deep with this.
you are bringing in some stuff. I'm just gonna say, I think I'm gonna speak for Kirk. I'm just gonna say that I do believe that there is a clash. Um,
Mm.
I do believe there's a clash, and I believe that when we are in church, we are told all of these things. And then when we're told that what God has for you, it is an automatic alignment to whatever it is that the pastor just said, even though that's not true. I don't think that we're supposed to be homogenous in this life. And so I just
Mm.
know that with the beginning of with the disruption of language, when we all spoke one language, and then God at the Tower of Babel decided to disperse us into different areas, different languages came. So I don't think we're supposed to be homogenous. So I'm not too sure if we're supposed to all be married, if we're all supposed to have all of those things, right? But I also know this, there is, and just the curiosity in me just kind of popped up because, I said Kurt Franklin spoke about three things, which was the marriage, the tithing, and sexuality. And here's what I find about people is that for some of us, right? Like I grew up in a culture that, when you're a little person, you're just supposed to sit at the feet of your elders and listen. You're not supposed to be involved in conversation. You're not supposed to, right? So you're just supposed to listen. And so because of that, you're supposed to be able to draw upon the stories that they tell for your life. And hopefully you're like, you know what? I don't want that for me. Or I want that for me. So and then there's some of us who just, every decision they make, they have to do it on their own, regardless of whatever, information is provided or advice is given and all of this kind of stuff. So, but I also know that for some people, our ideologies change when it's someone close enough to us. Then now we have to really look at our reflection in the mirror. And so the last thing that he talked about was the sexuality. And Kirk Franklin is well known in Western Christianity, in the Black community, Black Christian community. And so, the last thing that he talks about is his son, Carry-On, who is bisexual. And then so now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Girl, I didn't know either. So because I'd be minding my business over here. So, but it just kind of caught my attention. And so this idea that his son is bisexual, what do you do with that? Right?
What do you do with it?
Listen, y'all in the chats, if y'all have something about what do you all do with that, let me know, because I'm a firm believer. Like I said, I believe God doesn't need my help. I just don't. And I feel like everyone should be happy. I truly believe that. And I don't believe that people should hide who they are. For the comfort of others. And so people's sexuality, and when I say sexuality, I mean how you choose to have sex ain't got nothing to do with me. I just want them to be happy. I want them to know that I stand in a space of, I don't even want to call it allyship, but that's the word that we use. But it's just like, listen, if God told me to love you because you are God's creation and I believe God didn't make any mistakes, I'm really clear. And I'm more concerned about I don't want people to hide who they are for other people's comfort. That's where I am with it. And so I just know that Kirk Franklin is obviously doing some reflection right now from his understanding of what are all the sins that we talk about in the Bible and in this world. And then now his son is living in the space of quote unquote sin that a lot of Christians have been taught that's a sin. Do you have thoughts about that?
Well, listen, I do. I want to be able to come across as clear and concise, because it's a little bit jumbled up here. So, just as an example, I had a stagette when I got married.
You had a what?
A stagette.
Oh, okay.
Like party. The grooms, they do the stag. Yeah.
A bachelorette party. Okay. For all of us.
My stagette consisted of my girlfriends and my gay friends, because I had such a large population of gay friends. Okay. So at 1920, I was I saw things that people wouldn't want to see, because I was friends with a lot of homosexuals, and going to the gay bars and parties and seeing, and I thought nothing of it. You understand? That was normal. These were my friends. This is what was going on. I did not live a sheltered life at all. I went to art college. I was all about culture and art and the world. No shelter. There's no shelter anywhere. I just want to give that background.
Yeah.
Now, where I'm at, age-wise, and I think with my walk with God, oh my God, no, it was so perverse. There was so much perversion. And there is so much perversion. And I still have gay friends. And my mother said to my nephew on her deathbed, she wanted him to stop denying, and she wanted him to be able to live his truth, because the kid moved to London, England to go to the Fashion Institute. But I think he made such a big move to go. I mean, we have phenomenal art schools here and fashion institutes here. He needed to go somewhere really super far away so that he could truly find who he was and create a life for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't want to. Sometimes we feel like we have to remove ourselves from people that love us or that we love, because we're going to be living so opposite to what they deem the way we should live. I hope I'm answering this. So I do see, and it's not the individuals. You know, listen, there's a lot of perversion in the homosexual. I mean, in the heterosexual
Bisexual.
community, right? So
Mhm.
there's perversion everywhere. But I will say this, and I saw this with my friends as I was growing up. And that confusion, I think, I never knew about the enemy really until this Christian walk. And I do think the enemy will come through doors. I know how I opened up doors and windows to the enemy when I guess I was an idol worshiper. I made the law of attraction my idol. I made different things my idol, and I opened up the doors and the windows, and it came in, and then it got onto my children, and it gets into your whole family. So I think there's times that somebody in the family, a parent, could be living a life, whatever that life is, good, bad, or indifferent, and you've now opened up some doors and some windows, and that enemy is very present within your life. And that first, the enemy wants to start with the confusion, just wants to put the seeds of confusion into the mind. You know, the confusions: do I want to live? Do I not want to live? Am I gay? Am I straight? What do I do? I don't know. I do think we need to love the people. We're not to not love, we are to love those individuals. Do I want to know how you have sex? No. Because do you really want to know how I have sex? No. Okay. Like
Right.
I've just always felt like that. Like, I don't really care what you're doing. I don't really care what you do in the bedroom. Keep it to yourself.
Right.
But but my nephew, I adore my nephew. Do I want to know what him and his partner and how they go about it? No, I'm not interested.
Right.
I don't think he would have been interested in how my husband and I, made babies. Okay, not
Right.
interested. But I adore my nephew. I adore people. So I think if we can help them, and I thought this even before this Christian walk, I think if we could, that was been my job. And that was why I became a life coach, because we sit here as humans confused. We're double minded in most areas of our life. We want to be rich, but then we think poor. We want to be married, but then we act like, we just want to do our own thing. So this double mindedness is everywhere, this confusion. And I don't believe that confusion is from God.
No, I would agree with you. And first of all, I am going to steal the double-minded, because you laid that out so fantastic. I love that. You want to be rich, but we think poor. Girl, you done spoke something that, listen, I need to sip on my coffee, because that is so powerful, powerful, powerful. I want to thank you so very much for your honesty. I want you to just know that I love your transparency,
Thank you.
and the fact that you are still still learning, still
Oh, yeah.
asking yourself the questions, right? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to be doing this? What does that look like? And you're still thinking it through. So I appreciate that. And I hope that you are open yourself up and staying that way for the rest of your days, and you don't get too strict, or you don't get too, into a box. And I do want to, and I was seeing that Lorraine in the chat said all trees are not fruit bearing, but they are still needed or important to the grand scheme of life. And that is so beautiful. Beautiful. That means everyone has value, right? Everyone
Absolutely.
has value.
And we should never diminish the
Thank you.
value, ever,
I love
ever.
that. I love, love, love that. So I'm going to give you the closing word because it's 8:14 and I don't like to have my wonderful producer work much longer than she needs to. So give us your closing thoughts and then I will wrap.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. And as I said to you the other day on the phone, oh my goodness, whenever I can just share my fire that I have within me, and I know that that's the Holy Spirit, it's just burning up in me, and I'm loving this. So thank you. So my closing words to anybody here is that God will always answer us.
Mm,
God will always answer us. And please just remember, the world and the enemy want to seduce you. They want to be confusing. It's about shiny object syndrome.
mm,
It's better over here. The grass is
mm,
greener over there.
mm,
Oh, that's too strict. Oh, that's too this.
mm,
And I will say, because of my openness, and thank you for recognizing that, I'm not going to put myself into any box, because
mm.
the only box I want to be in is on the throne with God and Christ.
Love it.
And that's exactly where I want to be. God said to me at the beginning of 2021, He told me, this is your year to unlearn, Andrea.
Mm,
That's how we started off my year.
I
And I
love
was like, okay. So I knew for how much I was learning and studying and mastering skills of it within psychology and personal development and cognitive behavior, I knew that I was now going to 10 times that for my walk with God.
it. Mm,
And I encourage anybody that if you're confused, just speak to Him. I used to think prayer, oh, prayer, I didn't understand. Prayer had to be like, I can't pray. I don't even know what I'm supposed to pray. And thank goodness there's teachers out there that will say, prayer can be 2 minutes, but we need to connect with the source, connect with Hashem, the Father. He's here for us. Connect with Christ. He's here, and allow the Holy Spirit to lead.
mm. Thank you for that. Thank you for your closing words. I just want to give you a compliment from Jennifer Simmons, who says, Andrea Brunswick, thank you for being a mature believer in God and innocently expressing how the Holy Spirit has and is moving in your life.
Thank
So
you.
I concur with that. And I want to say thank you all for joining Andrea and I this morning. Thank you guys for actually giving me energy because I need it. I think this is the most energy I've had in like 5 days. Hopefully, I don't crash. You all pray for me that I don't crash and end up back in bed with my pillow today.
Well,
And
if you need to go back
girl,
to bed with your pillow, then do that.
I know, but you know, when you have work to do and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got so much
I
stuff
know.
to do.
But you
That
look good. But you
Well,
look
thank
good.
you. Well, thank you. I try, y'all. I try. I try. So I want to say this. So a couple things. So one, if you follow me, just know I have a couple huge announcements. So one, if you were in the Atlanta area, in September, late September, early October, I am going to host a grown girl event. I'm going to bring women together so we can build sisterhood. And the second announcement is that I am going to do the same thing in DC in October. So I am coming to DC as well. And so just look for that information because guess what? Women need to be in concert with women in a healthy way. And I'm going to show you all how to do that. And then the last thing I want to say is this is that just in case you are a lover of chicken wings, right? Y'all remember there was a chicken wing shortage way back in the day. I don't know. So we had chicken wing shortage. And I just want to say, if you are looking for more chicken wings, please don't be like the sister girl that stole $1.5 million worth of chicken wings from the elementary school. And so don't be that person because the chicken wing crisis is real. It's expensive. Andrew, we have got some strange crimes in the United States, but just know that $1.5 million worth of
chicken wings.
That was stolen.
What is she selling them on the black market?
No, she was actually the food service director for an elementary school, like for a school system. I don't know what she did with them chicken wings.
She sold them on the black market. That's what she did.
On the black market. So, 1.5 million. So don't be that chick. I just want to say, don't be that chick, but go have an awesome day. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for your walk, your openness to even listen to these type of discussions. Because I know some podcasts stay with the same theme every month. And don't get me wrong, I like those, right? Because I like a good podcast. But here we like to have some odd discussions, some strange discussions, some things we never say aloud. So I am signing off for today. I'm Kadada Esmera Gray, your conflict coach. Thank you for being with me and being on Life Coaching Today Presents, and I will see you all next Thursday. And Andrea, you got to go to the...
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.